This World Cup final could decide the 2026 Ballon d'Or. Sunday's World Cup final is not just about a trophy, it could decide something else entirely. The 2026 Ballon d'Or race is wide open, and the result in New Jersey might just close it. Spain versus Argentina. New York, New Jersey Stadium. Two teams, two candidates, one final. Lamine Yamal is 19 years old, and hoping to claim the Ballon d'Or for the first time. Lionel Messi is 39 years old and looking to win his 9th A record, extending 9th and in one of the tightest Ballon d'Or races in recent history. Sunday's result could effectively decide who takes that award. The decisive moment might not have happened yet, but here is the rule that changes everything. History tells us it is almost impossible to win the Ballon d'Or without also winning a major trophy in the same year. Only 4 of the past 19 Ballon d'Or wins have gone to a player who did not triumph in the Champions League, the World Cup, the European Championship, or the Copa America. 4 out of 19. Messi accounts for 3 of those in 2010, 2012, and 2019. Ronaldo accounts for the other in 2013. That is it. That is the entire list, and that means the odds are stacked heavily against Kane, Haaland, Mbappe, Olise, Rice, and Bellingham. But here is the twist. Harry Kane had one of the most extraordinary individual seasons in football history: 61 goals in 51 games. In all club competitions, Bayern Munich won a league and cup double, but Kane lost in the Champions League semi-finals, and he lost in the World Cup semi-finals with England. Kane himself said it best in November. He said, and this is a direct quote from the data, "I could score 100 goals this season, but if I don't win the Champions League or the World Cup, I'm probably not going to win the Ballon d'Or." He knew, he always knew, and he was right. Erling Haaland won the Premier League Golden Boot for the 3rd time in 4 seasons. Norway reached their first World Cup in 28 years. Haaland scored 7 goals at this tournament, but in terms of major silverware, he had to settle for an FA Cup and Carabao Cup double. No Champions League, no major international trophy, and that, based on history, is the barrier. Kylian Mbappe topped the scoring charts in both La Liga and the Champions League this season. 8 goals at this World Cup as well. 8 years as one of the most consistent goal scorers in world football. 27 years old, and yet a trophyless season with Real Madrid and World Cup heartache with France means the Ballon d'Or looks unlikely to change now. Let us talk about the 2 men who could actually win it, and here is where it gets serious. Ousmane Dembele is the defending Ballon d'Or holder. He won it in 2025 after winning the Champions League with Paris Saint-Germain this season. PSG won Ligue 1 and the Champions League again, and at this World Cup, 5 goals and 2 assists. Dembele is still very much alive in this race. His PSG teammate Kvaratskhelia shone in last season's Champions League, 10 goals and 7 assists, but Georgia did not qualify for the World Cup, and without that stage his chances fade. And then there is Michael Olise, 24 years old. Bayern Munich, 22 goals and 31 assists in 52 games this season, and at this World Cup he provided more assists than anyone else, 5 more assists than any player at the entire tournament. But Germany lost their semi-final to Spain 2-0, severely underwhelmed, the data says, and without that trophy Olise faces the same cruel barrier as Kane and Haaland. Jude Bellingham dragged England to the semi-finals, but an injury-hit campaign and a lack of silverware realistically rules him out. Declan Rice was key for an Arsenal team who won the Premier League and were a couple of penalty kicks away from becoming European champions. He will be in the top 10 mix, but the top 10 is not the Ballon d'Or, so we arrive at Sunday. Lamine Yamal against Lionel Messi, 19 years old against 39 years old, and the Ballon d'Or hanging between them. Yamal had a remarkable club season: 24 goals and 18 assists in 45 games. For Barcelona, Barcelona won La Liga, but they fell in the Champions League quarterfinals, and Yamal missed the final month of the club season through injury at this World Cup. 1 goal and no assists in 7 games. He has not dazzled like he did when Spain won Euro 2024. Spain probably need to win the World Cup for Yamal to be named the world's best, and here is what nobody is saying about Messi. We are now, the data tells us, into what might be the 5th and surely final iteration of Messi, and somehow he is still producing extraordinary performances. 8 goals and 4 assists at this World Cup. He narrowly leads the Golden Boot race with 1 more assist than fellow 8-goal man Mbappe. Victory on Sunday would make Messi the first player in history to captain his nation to back-to-back World Cup triumphs. Back-to-back, never done before. Ever. And a ninth Ballon d'Or would extend his own record further into the unreachable, while the level of opposition in Major League Soccer has to be considered. His World Cup exploits leave little doubt. The data says that he is still among the very best. One more thing nobody expected. This is not just the tightest Ballon d'Or race in recent history, it is the race where every other contender has already been eliminated by circumstance. Kane eliminated by the trophy barrier, Haaland eliminated by the trophy barrier, Mbappe trophyless season, World Cup heartache, Olise, Germany beaten in the semi-finals, Bellingham injury and no silverware that leaves Dembele still alive, that leaves Kvaratskhelia still in the conversation. But Sunday, Spain versus Argentina, Yamal versus Messi, that is where this race is decided. Two players, one final, 19 years old, 39 years old, the youngest serious contender in this race against the greatest player who ever lived. If Messi wins, he writes history again, first player to captain back-to-back World Cup winning nations, ninth Ballon d'Or. If Yamal wins, a generation changes. Spain become world champions for the first time since 2010, and the youngest superstar in world football claims the throne. Drop your answer in the comments right now. Who wins the World Cup final, and who wins the 2026 Ballon d'Or? Is it Messi lifting both trophies on Sunday? Or does Yamal begin a new era? And if you want the full tactical breakdown of Spain versus Argentina, that video is already on the way. Make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss it.